I decided to take a risk. I grew up only pretty much learning Spanish. I went to a private elementary school, and all yeah, all they offered was
Hey, and look though, I'm gonna keep it real with you. ¿Qué tal, mi gente? Bienvenidos a otro video. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dejor from Tú Lo Tienes. I hope you're doing well. And as you can see, I have a very, very special guest. My good friend. We met at the college that we currently attend, and we've been vibing and hanging out since then. It's been a great time. This is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Nicholas Rugbar, man. Tell him who you are, man. Introduce yourself, what you like to do, all that stuff, man.
Hey, ni hao, daja hao. 我的名字是 Nicholas，每个人都叫我尼克。我会说中文. I can speak some Chinese.
Yes.
And yeah, Dejour and I, man, we've been rocking since pretty much third day I got to campus. I think we met at a little function orientation weekend, and we just been close ever since. So
locked in, man. Locked in, bro. Did you want to tell them? So for everybody, if you see me looking at my phone, I've got a couple of questions for him and questions that I'll answer. Did you want to tell them, man, what was it that made you get into Mandarin? I heard you speaking some Mandarin at the beginning. I'm sure people are curious. They got questions. I got questions. Let them know, man, where it started.
Yeah, for sure. So initially, I grew up only pretty much learning Spanish. I went to a private elementary school, and all they offered was
look though.
all they offered was Spanish, and so I didn't really have much choice. I was kind of forced to learn it, and to be honest, I didn't really have much interest in learning it. But then moving out of elementary school, going to a public middle school, luckily there were other options. So I think I could have continued taking Spanish. I could have switched over to French. And then they had Chinese, and I just decided to take a risk. My mom was kind of confused because she could speak a little Spanish, and I think she was hoping to maybe help me out if I struggled a little bit. But she was like, "Why are you taking Chinese?" But honestly, I think it's really just a leap of faith, just trying something new. And yeah, I stuck with it. I love my teacher. I love my classmates. I've essentially been learning it ever since. So
yes, bro.
Yeah, it's like when I look back at it, it's really just a leap of faith. It was just stepping into a different role, trying something new.
Yes, bro. I love it, man. So you would say, just for the people who might, people be zoning in and out, bro. So you were saying you weren't as engaged with Spanish, and because of that pushed you away from Spanish, and you were pulled towards Mandarin as you were exploring your options while you were in school earlier.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say, man, maybe like that just goes to show, you don't want to like pigeonhole yourself, or maybe when you are pigeonholed, like I think it just limits your ability, your possibilities. So I think having the ability to choose is what I needed. And to not feel forced, like, yeah, it was still required that we learn a language, but this is something new, And at the time, I didn't know any Chinese. I didn't know. I mean, my neighbor happened to be Chinese, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, there was nothing to really like connect it to. I feel like America, receives so much like influence from Mexico, and just like Spanish culture in general.
Did you say that because of that lack of connection that people have, there's an overall like lack of desire for people to learn languages, like here in the States? Or would you say that they're like language learning is like something that's looked at as sexy? Or what do you think is the perception of language learning based on conversations that you've had or things that you've seen? What are your thoughts, bro?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I feel like just out of the people I know, I feel like the language that people probably most know is Spanish.
Yes,
but I feel like when it comes to other languages, I don't know. I feel like that's a really good question.
I thought about it just now.
Wow. Yeah, that's a really good question, man. Yeah, I feel like typically, Spanish is like it's the common ground for a lot of people. But I think now like Asian languages are really starting to appear. Japanese, Korean, K-pop, Squid Game, all that stuff. So I feel like that stuff is what's kind of branching people out now. People want to learn more languages, especially like anything that's not like Latin based. So
yes,
yeah,
bro.
Man.
That's a good point. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. I say, especially for the fellas, bro, a big reason for learning languages, let's just say it's women, bro. Let's just say it, bro.
Hey,
to be more appealing to whether it's like women in that country or to be more dynamic. I know for me, that was one of my dozens of reasons. I don't know if you saw like one of my previous videos. I'll link it in the description for y'all. But there was this Mexican girl in my middle school class, bro. She was the bomb. Like she was like, I thought she was it, bro. So I was like, and I was already passionate about Spanish. So I was like, if I can string together some sentences, whatever, whoopty whoop, and talk to her, hey, I got leverage. You know what I'm saying? Might have myself a date, whatever. I never ended up doing that, bro. I chickened out. But I think, like, would you say stuff like that, or just like, I guess for a broader point, like people gravitating towards a language based on things that they like doing or other things or people they want to pursue? Do you think that's a big influence as well, or you think maybe not so much?
I think when people realize the possibilities with it, with like associated with learning a foreign language, absolutely. Like I'll say myself, obviously, like 7th grade me, I wasn't really thinking about impressing women, but now, having a 3-month study abroad experience in Taiwan under my belt, I could say that it's definitely a perk. Yeah, man, I'll say too, just being really immersed in the environment and around a bunch of Taiwanese people, like, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely felt some sort of attraction towards them. And then you already got the language a little bit, so it's not so much the language barrier,
Bro, that leads me to the story. I got an interesting story, man. There's this girl from Costa Rica that I got to meet. Like we hit it off, whatever. And in the back of my mind, I got this duality, right? So I'm like, she's a good language partner, but she's also like attractive. But I don't want to be selfish and let my attractiveness like override that. Y'all, this is different from like the story of me studying abroad, like the Tinder. It's different from the Tinder situation. That's different. This like we would like meet up and like listen to music, right? Like I'd put her on, we'd be listening to Drake and like all like the Baby, like all type of rap like R&B and all that. And then she put me on to some Hispanic artists, and it'd be a very dynamic, interesting way that we, grew closer, build some chemistry, and practice our languages. So it's like, I don't think people think about stuff like that, Nick, just like interesting ways that you can engage with the language, even based on like people that you're interested in or just passions that you have in general, bro. I'm sure you can speak to that, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, you can use your interest for you. For instance, like in Taiwan, man, I find myself on the basketball courts a lot. That's a great way to connect with people. Like we're connecting over shared hobbies, but then also I'm practicing Chinese. They can speak English, so it's a win-win situation. So you gotta leverage those hobbies and interests, man. 100%.
You're right, bro. Nick, you got me thinking, because I had one opportunity playing sports, like playing basketball with a Spanish speaker, but I could have had like a whole 5-on-5 game. It was like a group of like Hispanic dudes, like in Miami when I was like interning with the church. But I was too chicken. I chickened out. I was like, what are they talking? I don't understand. I was like,
yeah.
But that's good stuff like that, bro. Like regardless of the outcome, I know you can speak to this, man. It definitely gives you like confidence, because you're building reps in that language, right? And it's helping you to establish a solidarity, confidence within yourself that you can go out and do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've already seen my confidence improve just being over there for 3 months. Like literally, guys, like bare bones. I had to navigate around the city.
Yep.
If you don't feel comfortable speaking Chinese, too bad. You're gonna have to speak it, because not everybody is gonna speak English. Just reading menus, all in Chinese characters, whipping out the phone, Google Translate.
Yes.
But now coming back to the States, I can just see like more confidence in myself. I feel more confident in myself. I feel more confident to even go up and just talk to people. Even before, it's like I struggle doing that in English, and now it's like if I could do that in a foreign language in a different country, adapt to that kind of lifestyle, and come back here. I mean, come on now. Like,
that's fire, bro.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to be shy or nervous.
Another question, bro. Would you say that experience in Taiwan and developing that confidence, would you say that there's a different social dynamic between what you experience in Taiwan versus what you experience in the States? Like, I'll give you an example. So when I went to Miami and there's a lot of Hispanics, I was really surprised that a lot of women will greet you with a kiss. Not like kiss you on the lips or like straight on the cheek, but like they'll hug you, and then they'll like their cheek will touch your cheek, and then they'll like do a smooch. And I was like, hey, what you trying to do? Like, what's up with that? And then I was like, oh, okay, this is their way of greeting is platonic. So like, have you ever experienced anything like that, like a culture shock? so to speak?
Yeah, I feel like interactions or like introducing yourself, you meeting new people on the street. Actually, interestingly, it's actually kind of rude to like publicly greet somebody on the street. I feel like Asian culture, at least I can specifically speak to Taiwanese point, is very reserved. So I
Wow.
think meeting new people is probably gonna be a form of shyness. I feel like so like
Yeah.
yeah, like kissing, like even if it's not on lips, like yeah, no, absolutely not. You know, it's especially like you said you had just met them, right?
Yeah, I had just met them. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
haven't known each other for super long. Yeah.
definitely not, definitely not. I feel like that's pretty intrusive over there.
Definitely. Be like, if you got help, put your paws
Yeah,
on somebody. You better
yeah.
not.
Call the
Yeah.
police, man. Bao
It's
Jing.
different, man. Yeah.
Call the
It's
cops.
different. It's crazy, man. A lot of the culture shocks and experiences. But I got one last important question for you. But where do you see your future based on this language? Like, what's your vision? You don't have to like give us too much, like,
Yeah,
or if you don't want to answer that, or if you just wanted to remain a mystery, like tell them stay
yeah,
tuned. How
yeah.
do you respond?
Hey, to tell you the truth, man, I'm not entirely sure myself, but I think in an ideal setting, an ideal situation, I definitely want to utilize my Chinese. That's whether it's listening, speaking. Probably won't be actual writing, but typing, same kind of thing. You need to know the characters. But yeah, if I could utilize my Chinese in any of those four ways, ideally for the government, not like I said, not quite sure what that would look like yet, but
Yeah,
yeah, doing that would definitely be ideal because I've been learning for so long. Um, I feel like why not incorporate that into my future?
thanks, dog.
Yeah, it'd just be like wasted time
That's
if I
yeah,
didn't, So
yeah. And it's like, yeah, we got to be honest with ourselves, bro. As much work as we put in, I know how much work you put in, man. As
yeah,
much work as you put in, it definitely be in vain or just feel off if it wasn't used. You feel me? So that's
yeah.
really cool, man. Like,
I
yeah,
feel like at this point in our journeys, man, like our respective languages, they're a part of us.
it's a
Like
part of
they
us.
make up our identity. It's who we are,
Yeah.
So we can't just leave it at the wayside.
Exactly. Have you ever had a dream in Mandarin? Like the words were in Mandarin in a dream, where you heard somebody speaking Mandarin?
I have not, but
Yeah.
I've increasingly, and actually I'm gonna drop this too because
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I recently got Babbel with my grandma, so we try to learn some Spanish a little bit at the very basic level. But what I catch myself doing a lot is like I'll translate it in Chinese before I do in English. You know what I mean? Like I'll try to think about the Chinese equivalency before I even
Yeah.
think about English. So yeah.
That's the mark of a fluent person, man. I should make a video about that. Like, if you find yourself wanting to engage in your target language before your native language, you locked in. You
Yeah.
locked in for sure, man. That's a true sign, telltale sign. I know for me, man, I had this one crazy dream, bro. It's gonna sound so weird.
Yeah.
Bro, I was in McDonald's in Argentina, bro. Like the craziest specific dream. And I was in line. And I can't remember what the guy behind me said. He's Argentinian. And he says something, but all I could remember was like he said something to me in Spanish. And I
Yeah.
and then it ended. But like stuff like that, it's just like your mind, your stream of consciousness, like when you're speaking, even when you're not speaking, your thoughts, everything is in that target language.
Yes.
And it's just like you're immersed. It's like you're in a pool, like a baptism.
I imagine if I keep up, man, I'll probably get to that point too.
You will, bro.
Just to see,
You will.
sure.
You will. Yeah. But anyways, man, dude, I think I'll wrap it up here. Was there anything else you wanted to say to the people? Inspirational message? I'll tag your Instagram so they know where to follow you.
Yeah.
Last words.
Hey, for sure. Look, if you guys are learning any kind of language, you gotta stick with it. And I would encourage you to try to go to the region. Try to go to the region. Try to immerse yourself as much as possible. And don't fall for those schemes and these companies saying that you will become fluent in 24 hours. Dejon and I were talking about is not true. It is a scam. It's a gimmick. It's not gonna work. Dejon and I, man, we've been learning for years, and we still have a lot. We still have a lot to grow. There's still a lot of growth. The ceiling is up here. It's limitless. So stick with it. Try to go to the region, and just
lock in. I agree with everything you said, man. And also, I would add to that, make sure everyone you make learning a lifestyle. Incorporate ways that you can learn, or incorporate like your everyday activities. If you play video games, switch your video games to the target language. Connect with friends and people on social media in that language, movies, media, books. So y'all got it, man. I will end the video here. Thank you all for watching. Make sure that you share this video with a friend and follow my boy Nick on Instagram. And until next time, how you say goodbye in Mandarin? Tell him goodbye.
再见。
再见. Nos vemos. Ciao.